Hi Color Kids, this is Katie Carty-Hiley from RainbowBrite.net. Welcome back to the Rainbow Land Museum. And for the final, for the moment, comic review of the first arc of the Rainbow Brite comic series. I have issue number 5 here in hand. And oh my god, it's good. So like I said, this is the last issue of the first arc, which we were told way back in the beginning, before this even came out, was going to only be 5 issues long. So, yeah. After this comes the trade paperback. I don't know exactly when yet. I'm guessing sometime this summer, where they're going to take all 5 issues of the floppies and put them into one thicker volume that you can purchase that will have all of the stories in it and maybe even some extra stuff. I don't exactly know. I don't think I've ever bought a trade paperback of a comic series before, so I don't know what kind of extras they may throw in, but I'm hoping that there might be something. And if that sells well, then hopefully we'll get more of these. So you should buy it. I mean, buy the floppies too, obviously, because they're amazing. They're super fun to collect. They're super pretty and bright and love the art. But definitely collect the trade paperback, even if you're not collecting the floppies. Like maybe you've been, excuse me, maybe you've been buying your copies of the comic online, like Comixology or one of the other online distributors. Those numbers don't always, or maybe never, I'm not quite sure, they don't get reported back to like Dynamite and the other comic companies like floppy sales do. So there may be a lot more fans out there reading this than Dynamite knows. But trade paperbacks, they absolutely take those numbers into account when making decisions as to whether or not to continue a series such as this. So, even if you haven't bought one single floppy, if you've just been buying digital, which is fine, I'm not like mad at you if you've been buying digital copies. Some of you just don't have a comic shop locally to you and you'd rather not pay shipping. I get it. And you want it like the day it comes out. I get that too. But definitely buy the trade when it does come out, and I'll be pimping that when it does, or when it's close to time. But I'm just mentioning it now because I figure the more I mention it, the more it will hopefully help. So, issue 5 is so good. I bought it this morning. I went to my comic shop. And I just went out in the parking lot and sat in my car and read it because I could not wait till I got home. The others, I was like, I'll just get, because it's probably 13-minute drive. It's not far. So usually I'm just like, oh, wait till I get home, whatever. But there was like construction on the way there that I knew I'd be hitting on the way back, where they were narrowing it down to 1 lane, so it's slow, whatever. And I just couldn't wait because it was the last one of the arc, and I had to know what happened in it. I had to know how it ended. And now we're going to talk about it. So, we start off with Wisp and Red still fighting with Herky Jerky, the robot villain that was made by Murky, and he's hilarious. I mean, he was hilarious in the last one, but he's maybe even slightly more hilarious in this one. But yeah, he's already got Red in one of his robotic arms, wrapped up, and he's trying to get Wisp, and she is completely, like, outrunning him, although still making mistakes as she is getting used to this super speed, superpower that she's never had before. So she, like, runs up a wall, and halfway around, she's like, I can run up walls, and then falls. Like I would do if I had that power just thrust upon me with no training. But it's great, and there's some really funny back and forth between her and Herky Jerky, and I learned a new word. Okay, let me pull up, where is it? I literally had to Google this word, and even the pronunciation I wasn't 100% on. I think it's couchant. Couchant? Hold on. Couchant. I love Google's little pronunciation thing. If you didn't know that, you can just Google a word, do like the word and then definition usually, and it'll come up with the definition and a little speaker icon. Click that and it'll actually pronounce the word for you. Couchant. So, couchant, I had never heard before in my life as far as I know. Typically refers to animals, and it's like, okay, picture like a cat. If they're laying down, I mean, they can't just be on their side, but pretend they're laying down like on their stomach and their legs are kind of tucked under them. And And if they're sleeping, like, their head will just be down on the ground. But if their legs are under them and they lift their head, that's couchant. That's that kind of pose. It's lying with the body resting on the legs and the head raised. And it says of an animal. So it's typically referring to animals. And typically it refers to, like, heraldry, like coats of arms. I didn't know this either. I just started going down a rabbit hole of information. I was like, what? But yeah, apparently a lot of, like, lions that you see on coats of arms are in the couchant, did I say it right? Couchant pose, where, yeah, they're on, like, all, like the, the Sphinx, you know, and near the Great Pyramids. It's like on all fours, but it's heads up. So that's couchant. But at first I was like, why did he, I'm assuming that's you, Jeremy, pick that word to reference a human? But is kind of in that position when he says it. She, like, has fallen down on all fours, but her head is raised. She's like, oh, ow, my head. And the next panel that shows her again, she's still down on all fours with her head up. So she is in a couchant pose. I just never knew that was a word, or that there was a word for that. Now I do, and now you do. And see, that's the thing I love about this comic. I mean, I love a lot of things about this comic, and I've probably said this before, but it teaches even adults new things, and I love that for so many reasons. I mean, for one, it's absolutely teaching children new words, vocabulary, science, information, but the fact that it can even teach an adult is really cool in an all-ages comic like this. I mean, if you had heard the word couchant before and you knew what it meant, let me know. Maybe it was just a hole in my learning, my vocabulary that I had just forgotten, but I can't remember that being like an SAT word. Who knows? But yeah, like, some people are, like, I don't know if confused is really the word, but they kind of wonder, like, what age group this comic is for. And literally, I think it's for all. I mean, it is an all ages comic, but even some comics who say all ages are very much dumbed down, either for little kids or too mature, so there really should be, like, more young adult to adult. But this, I seriously, absolutely 100% say is all ages, because you come across a word like couchant and you say, Mommy, Daddy, what does this word mean? And they're like, I have no clue. Let's go look it up. And it teaches kids how to easily find out what a word means if they don't know. So it helps them with their reading, etc. So anyway, and yeah, he uses all kinds of funny vocabulary words. The rest of them are not that highfalutin. I know what all the rest of his words mean, but they're just not ones you hear on a regular basis. So again, teaching kids vocabulary, I'm all for that. So yeah, she's trying to kind of outsmart him, and getting a little too overconfident, and then the lizard men are there again, and she's like, oh god, not you guys again. So she kind of uses them as not a distraction, but yeah, she kind of uses them to outsmart him at one point, and the lizard guys get punched out. Not by her, but by Herky Jerky. So again, she's getting overconfident, and Red's like, Liz, you can't just be fast. You have to think, you gotta do more than that, because he caught me, and I'm fast. So, like, keep thinking, figure out a plan. And he starts spinning, really, really fast. And he's spinning right around, like, poor guy. I'm surprised he didn't just, like, pass out, or hurl afterwards. Maybe he did and just didn't show that. But anyway, she's evading that. I'm trying not to read this to you because I really want to tell you everything that's happening. You have to see it for yourself. But yeah, so they're fighting Herky Jerky for a bit. And then he basically goes into kill mode. He doesn't say the word kill, but it's kill mode. And he smacks down on the ground, and she loses her footing, and she falls. I think it launches her into the air, and then she falls from a really high height. And then she's in prison with the rest of them. So now we're in the dungeons of this color mine, which is cool because taking video while, oh, sorry. My camera was saying something. I was like, oh my god, what's happening? It's nothing. It's fine. Right. So they're in the dungeons, And I'm like, oh, awesome, because this is where some of the other characters are. So now we're going to meet some more characters. And we do! So first, we just see Red. And, okay, also interesting, he's back in normal human clothes. He's wearing, like, shorts and a t-shirt and sneakers. So even his suit is gone. But we never see him, like, carrying a scepter or any kind of tool that makes him turn into Red Flare. So I'm a little confused, I guess, or just curious. We'll say curious as to why his outfit changed. But I guess maybe it has something to do with just being drained of his power. That could be it. That would make sense, actually. So yeah, he's probably drained, so his suit is gone, and he looks like a normal human boy. And Wisp is knocked out from the fall, but she is imprisoned with the green color guardian, who is taking care of her. And I'm just like, oh my god, we're about to meet the green color guardian. So, but first, we meet some more sprites. So, Romeo is sitting on Red's shoulder, looking adorable. He's just so little and cute. And I love how all of the sprites have fanny packs. Like, I don't know why, but I love that. It's definitely an 80s throwback. And I swear those things are making a comeback lately. I see people using them more often. I mean, yeah, a lot more often than I have in the past 30 years. Or at least 25, whatever. That was like a 90s thing, wasn't it? Late 80s, early 90s, yeah. So, but anyway, fanny packs are back, and they're on all the sprites, and each one has like a different colored one, and it doesn't seem to go with anything in particular. Like, I thought maybe it would be the opposing colors, like the red sprite would have a green fanny pack or something, but no, I don't know if there is really a rhyme or reason, but they'll all have different colored ones. But anyway, I'm like focused on all the color, and what does it mean? So, we meet Romeo. He's not talking yet, we just see him first, and then we meet Lucky, and all of the sprites are cousins. Twink is basically introducing everyone as his cousin. Well, that's when Wisp wakes up. He says, this is my cousin Lucky. And there's another sprite in a bit that's also a cousin. So basically, all of the different colored sprites are cousins of each other. Yeah. And, well, I'll get back to that in a minute. So, Twink is a little bit disappointed with himself because he's like, oh, I got caught in my first time coming in here. I let Wisp down. I wasn't there for her when she needed me. And Lucky is reassuring him and saying like, no, really, it's okay. Oh, that's just gonna stay there. Okay. It's telling me not to charge it while I'm taking a video because it can get too hot. Let me feel it. It's not hot. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, so, Lucky is reassuring. It's so sweet. I love Lucky. He's great. They're all great. And so let's see. So they're getting bandages and such that the green color guard is asking for. And yeah. So oh right. So Twinkle comes back to the green color guardian and is asking if there's any hope, and she says, Twinkle, there's always hope. Sorry, I had it backwards. There is always hope, Twinkle. It would have worked either way. But, and then we get a view of her back, just like kind of the back of her head, but it's in shadow, and then a little bit below that, and already I'm just like, ooh, she's exotic. This is cool. So she gets some water on a bandage or something and puts it on Wisp's head. She wakes up, and the first thing Wisp sees is Twinkle and Lucky, and she's just like, Twink, why am I seeing two of you? And why is one of you green? That's when he introduces Lucky as his cousin. So she's just like, hey, good to meet you. Why are you here? And then the color guard says, he's with me. And then we see the green color guard, and I'm not gonna show her to you, even though I really want to. You need to see this for yourself, because it's not gonna do it justice. It just won't. You need to see this full image in person. It's amazing. So she is exotic. I would describe her as kind of a wood nymph, like elf / slightly insect looking. Yeah, there's elements of all of that. and her hair is green. It's very much like leaves, though, kind of like the leaves on a tree, just very long ones. But yeah, it's really cool the way it's drawn and colored. It really does look like leaves, but it also looks like hair, which is impressive. But yeah, she's got kind of these antenna things going on, big eyes, and then she has almost like tattoos of like vines around her skin, which is so gorgeous and amazing, and I love it. And it's a cute little green outfit, and she says, okay, so I can at least tell you about her name. I have to read this because it won't make sense otherwise. She says, my name is difficult to say in your language, but you may call me Patty. And then she says, it's a pleasure to meet you, Rainbow Brite, because they've been obviously telling her who this person is, or who they think she is. So first, her name is still Patty, but it's just Patty Green, basically, instead of Patty O'Green, which, fine. She didn't need to be Irish anymore. I'm glad that they're introducing new species, not just more humans. I was waiting for that to happen. I knew it would at some point. I just didn't know when, but I'm super glad that it's the second one we meet is this exotic, awesome creature. Well, person, you know what I mean. She's great. But, yeah. But they just call her either Green or Patty, depending. Like, at some point, Red calls her Green. I think he usually refers to her as just Green. But, yeah, she says you can call me Patty. So, one or the other. So, we got Red Flare and Patty Green. I'm here for it. Love it. So, Wisp freaks out, though, because she sees Patty and recognizes immediately that she's not human, and is like, oh my god, why is there an alien here? You didn't say anything about aliens, Twink. So, Twink is like, but hold on, Wisp, like, you and Red are both aliens here, too. Like, you're not from here. And, yeah, so Patty just, talks about where she's from, briefly, but it's not Earth or Rainbow Land. So, yeah, Twink is like, you do remember when I said that, we were here to help, or, sorry, how did he say? That Rainbow Land provides color to the rest of the universe? And she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that means more than just Earth. And then they don't make fun of her, but they laugh at her just ignorance, because Wisp didn't know that aliens existed, even though she's on another planet in another solar system, most likely, far away from Earth and home. It still hasn't sunk into her that, oh, there could be like non-humanoid sentient beings, because these lizard men that she's encountered so far, I don't even know if they've talked. Can't remember now, but they're just like quintessential bad guy kind of things. So they don't necessarily look like aliens, they just more look like a sentient version of a lizard, so something she's already experienced. But a humanoid person with these features is very alien to her, and it's just like completely catches her off guard. And Lucky's like, wait, you thought that humans were the only intelligent creatures in the universe? Or the intelligent life in the universe? And she's like, yes. And then they're just laughing hysterically. So, yeah, anyway, they're laughing, and she's like, Red, why are you laughing? You're human too. He's like, dude, I always thought they were aliens. Even before he came to Rainbow Land, he was a believer. So, anyway, it's funny. And then there's his voice from kind of right in front of them, but they can't see anything, saying, excuse me, I'm trying to sleep here. And it turns out there is a new kind of sprite that we've never encountered before in Rainbow Brite, and this is so exciting, you guys. This is so exciting. So it's a sprite who is ultraviolet. That's not his name, but he is an ultraviolet sprite. I'm assuming there are more than one. Don't know that, though. Not really confirmed in here, but I'm guessing there's more than one ultraviolet sprite. Actually, might be... I'll look for something in a minute. But there's an ultraviolet sprite, so they can't see him because ultraviolet light can't be seen by most eyes. Definitely not most humanoid eyes. So he like concentrates for a second and makes himself visible so they can see him, and introduces himself as Gloomy, the ultraviolet sprite. Which, and he is pretty grumpy, I gotta say. His face is gray, like the other sprites. Like Twink has like flesh colored face. Where's Romeo? Because Lucky has a green face. Yeah, Romeo has a pink face. So it's like the sprites, at least like the dolls, have always been that their face is the color of their fur, basically. But Gloomy has purple, well, ultraviolet, but it's purple fur and purple arms. He's like, yeah, darker purple arms, and then a gray face. And his beard is much longer than Twink's. I don't think Lucky even has a beard. I think Romeo had a little beard. I'm sorry, I'm focusing on silly things, but I find it interesting. I love the variety. I just love all of that. So maybe this means he's an old sprite. I don't know. He's definitely grumpy, whether he's old or not. But it turns out he's grumpy because he feels left out. He doesn't get invited to parties. Nobody hangs out with him, but it's just because they can't see him. So how do you invite someone to a party that you can't see? And they're trying to explain to him that it's not that they don't like him. It's they just literally don't know how to interact with him. But anyway, so he's gloomy and he's talking about, oh, that's the other thing. And again, also Lucky refers to him as a cousin. So even the ultraviolet sprites are cousins to the others. And Lucky calls him an envy. And at first it's spelled out like the word E-N-V-Y. And Whisper's like, what? And Patty is like, what? And Twink is, yeah, they mostly keep to themselves. Envy, and he's about to say something. And then Gloomy is like, envy isn't a word, it's an abbreviation for NV, as in non-visible. Which is adorable that he's, you know, getting just irate that they're calling him an envy when it's really an envy. Anyway, so then we get into some science. And hold on, I gotta pull it up. I literally had to text my husband because he is my go-to science person. And I was just like, is this right? Like, not that I doubted you, Jeremy. I know you do your research. But I had never heard all light referred to as radiation. See, this is, I'm not gonna read it all to you, but Twinkle gives a bit of exposition here about radiation traveling through space at different wavelengths, and that's how we see light, different wavelengths, and the different colors of light is because they're at different wavelengths. That's the visible light spectrum, as demonstrated with the rainbow. And he even, okay, this is something though that bothers me a little bit, because it even says with red on top and violet at the bottom. But then in the very next panel is a rainbow that's upside down. The red should be on top and the violet should be on the bottom, like he just said. You know, I see this happen all the time, but just not in Rainbow Rite. So I was like, no, you gotta fix it. If it were just like a straight rainbow going across something, I wouldn't care. But the fact that it's curved, it should be in proper order. The only time that color is correct is when it's a double rainbow. The one above the actual rainbow will be reverse colors. If you've never paid attention, Google some double rainbow images and you'll see what I mean. The main rainbow will be red to violet going down, and the one above it will be a mirror of that. So it's backwards. So maybe this is a double rainbow and we just can't see the other one. Sure, I'll go with that. So y'all don't have to redraw it or recolor it. But anyway, the exposition is great. Cause yeah, I was just like, wait, I've heard of light being a wavelength, but not as radiation. And yeah, apparently light is also electromagnetic radiation, same as radio waves. And light is both a wave and a particle, photons, if you've heard of that. Where my brain went was just like Star Trek immediately. Like, wait, so photon torpedoes are rainbow bombs? Anyway, back to the comment. So yeah, infrared is above red. We can't see that. Ultraviolet is beyond violet. We can't see that. There are insects and such that can see those colors. I know that because I watched a thing once about like flowers and how some flowers give off not radioactive, oh my god, what am I saying? Give off, well I guess it is radiation, ultraviolet or infrared light that insects can see, but we can't. So it attracts them to the flowers that they should be pollinating, etc. So anyway, and feeding from and such. So, but Glimmy is super mad that probably not just, I mean, I guess there are some species, I'm sure, that can see these lights. But that's most cannot. He is mad that ultraviolet is nobody's favorite color. It's not on any stickers and flags. There's no representation for ultraviolet. It's adorable. But again, they're just like, it's not that we don't think you exist. We just can't see you. Please try to understand. So anyway, he's just hanging out in the dungeon because that's just where he lives, apparently, or where he stays most of the time because it's quiet, nobody around to bother him. Because I guess he's kind of chosen to be a loner at this point because he feels like he is being left out. Anyway, so yeah, they're like, wait, you're free? Like, you could leave and you don't? We're locked up. We literally can't. We want to. So he and Twink are like screaming at each other for a second. And Wisp is just like, hey, let me talk to Gloomy. Give me a second. So yeah. Then Gloomy drops another bombshell about Twink's origin. So in the old mythos, Twink was a red sprite originally. He was thrown into the pits by Murky Dismal, but Rainbow rescued him before he turned clear. But he basically had lost all of his color, and that's why he was white. Although that doesn't make any sense with the cartoon. That was in one of the See and Read videos, which is like a book that's being shown on a video and read aloud. It was never actually a book that you could buy. It was just in this video. But anyway, in that mythos, he was a red sprite. But in Beginning of Rainbow Land, when she meets Twink for the first time, he's already white. So it doesn't make any sense. So I'm okay with his origin changing, which it does. It's basically his dad was a red sprite, his mom was a yellow sprite, so he should have been an orange sprite, but he came out, and when his fur came in, it was white. And they all made fun of him because they had never seen a white sprite before, and they didn't understand what he was or why he was, and he didn't either. So, but, I mean, just imagine this poor little tiny sprite. Everybody's like laughing at or pointing at or thinking something is wrong with him just because he was born a certain way. Sound familiar? Society? Stop making people feel bad with the way they're born. Anyway, so Twink, being the intelligent, scholarly sprite that he is, goes through basically the Rainbow Land library. I mean, it doesn't call it that, but there's, rows and rows of books behind him, and he searches for answers as to why he is white, and have there been other white sprites in history of Rainbow Land? And it turns out, yes, there have, and that's how he found out about the mythos of Rainbow Brite, or the legend of Rainbow Brite. So that's why he's gone to find her, and to save them all from the Shadow King, etc., or King of Shadows. So yeah, Twink is like, where's your color guard? And he's like, I am very picky with my color guard. Or not me, it's, what does he say? The Ultraviolet has an elite tradition when it comes to champions. Not just any brute will do for our guard. Okay, he does say our guard, so he's not the only one. I mean, I guess if he were, they'd make fun of him too, right? So, yeah, there are multiple Ultraviolet sprites hidden somewhere that nobody can see. And until they want to be seen, and then they can be. But, yeah. So then he's like, what's that smell? Strange place for it to go next, but literally he's like, I smell something, what is that? And he's sniffing around Wisp, and she's like, I don't have BO, I promise. But he's like, wait, were you wearing someone else's clothes recently? And she's like, thinking back, oh yeah, I was wearing Willow's coat. And he's like, oh, and disappears. And they're like, is he still there and we just can't see him, or did he leave? Turns out he did leave. Because now we're back on Earth, and I'm gonna pause this so it doesn't cut me off. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up quick. And I probably have talked way too much about what's going on here, but it's just so good. I just can't skip. But okay, we're back on Earth. And okay, this was interesting. Remember back in issue 1, let me pull up that page, I just had it. The very first thing that said, there we go. Very first, that sentence, the second sentence of page 1. Long ago in a faraway land, a great evil stirred. A dragon terrified the good people of the village of Lenore. And I remember in that review talking about the word Lenore because it is a French word for black. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting that they're bringing in a color word or a word that in a different language means a color to be the name of the city. It turns out they live in the city of Lenore because outside of the police station it says Lenore City Police. What does it say? Station? What does that say? Oh, department. Lenore City Police Department. And I forgot. I was looking up because there is a Lenore, North Carolina, and I was trying to figure out where that was. Oh no, I'm on the wrong profile. Hold on, let's do this. Yes, from there to there. Okay, it's an hour and a half away from here. It's southeast. Interesting. Oh my god, you guys, there is a place called, oh no, it's not. Why did it look like that? Oh, okay, there is a river running through this word. It seriously looked like Lestrange, and I was getting excited. It's not, it's Lagrange, when you zoom in. But Lenore Community College is that's in Kinston, North Carolina, but there also is a Lenore, North Carolina. I saw when I was looking this up. Just as I was just like, maybe Jeremy is from Lenore. I don't know. Where are you from, Jeremy? I don't think I ever asked you that. So from here, Lenore is almost about 3 hours. So it's towards the mountains. Interesting. Yeah, it's over towards the Pisgah National Forest. So, let me know, Jeremy, what significance Lenore has to you, if any. You might just like the word and the fact that it's a color word in French. But anyway, so that's where they live, and that's where Willow, got the idea to name that kingdom Lenore. Anyway, back on Earth, in the police station, Willow, her parents, and Wisp's mom are all there. And Wisp's mom is crying. Willow is trying to explain to the police officer what she saw, and of course he's not believing her because it sounds crazy. So he's just like, okay, sweetie, I need to talk to your parents for a minute. Can you step outside? So she does. She's just like, nobody believes me. If I was writing this story, or if I had made up this story, it would have had a better ending, which I love that line because she is a story writer. And then she hears a voice. I believe you. She's like, what? No, I am going crazy because I just heard a voice and I can't see anybody. And then he's like, oops, I forgot. And here comes Gloomy. Almost called him Moody. Gloomy is there. And of course, freaks Willow out for a second. She's just like, wait, what the? And then she realizes that he is the same type of creature that was with Wisp. Oh, that was Twinkle, of course. And she's like, hey, aren't you one of the people or one of the things that helped Wisp? And he's like, yes. And we gotta go. And she's like, but I have to tell my parents. And he's like, nope, no time. We gotta go now. So he grabs onto her sleeve, and it's like 1, 2, 3, poof, crack. There's flash of lightning. And I didn't even notice this the first time I read it, but at the very bottom it says, welcome to Rainbow Land. And that's the end, you guys! I need more. Although it does say coming soon, Rainbow Brite Volume 1 trade paperback. So, yeah, that's what's next. Like I said at the beginning of this video for this series is the trade, and then hopefully more after that. Because now Willow is going to Rainbow Land, and probably is going to be the new Ultraviolet color guard. How cool is that? Okay. What Let me count the ways in which I love this. I think I've already pointed out everything, but yeah, I'm just thinking, okay, so ultraviolet, new color that has never been addressed in Rainbow Brite mythos. But actually, wait, I take that back. The Felin miniseries in the last episode, when they defeated the Dark Princess, had something to do with lights like infrared and ultraviolet that Brian could see when he had on his outfit that came from Chris, and now it's all a jumble in my head, and I meant to look that up before I got on this video. I'm just gonna pause this. I can do that. BRB. Okay, I was slightly wrong, but he can see infrared with his suit. Hang on. Here we go.
You are the Sentinel of Light Unseen. You can control and manipulate artificial light.
Like lasers?
Yep, totally lasers.
Sentinel of Light?
Okay. So, yeah. Sentinel of Light Unseen can control and manipulate artificial light. Like lasers. Okay. But, anyway, then his suit comes on that came from his ring, and then he has, it goes dark. Because the Dark Princess turns out the light on her staff, and they can't see anything, and then his mask, his helmet, there's the word, is like, I've sensed that dark mode detected something, and then this, like, grid comes up and he can see in infrared. So, I was close, but not completely right. So it was sort of, kind of, but ultraviolet was not talked about in even the Felin series. So I love that that's being talked about, and even the infrared thing that was very briefly shown in the Felin series was just like a technological thing that he could use in his visor, the visor part of his helmet, to see in darkness. There were no infrared sprites or color guards or anything like that. So that's really interesting. So now I have to think, are there others than ultraviolet and infrared are the most obvious, like the ones I've heard of before, but there's probably others that I can't think of at the moment. I mean, there's a whole 10 billion jillion colors, really, we talk about the main ones, but there are all the shades in between, that don't all necessarily have names. Crayola may think otherwise, but you know what I mean. So, but they do have hex values. Okay, I'm gonna stop being nerdy right this second. Right now. Stopping that. I love this so much. I love that, she gets a little overconfident and then has to be knocked back down a peg, because we've all been there. I love that, Red is human just like her, but then the green color guard is not, and she's gorgeous. She's just so cute. It's not, I don't mean gorgeous as in oh, she should be a supermodel. She's still a child, just like the others. I'd say maybe even, younger looking than Red Flare for sure. About the same age as Wisp, if I had to guess. She's slightly, I think, where was it? I think in one of these panels it showed her and Wisp facing each other, and Green was slightly taller. Now I can't find it. Where was that? Oh, there it is! Yeah, very slightly taller than Wisp, but pretty much the same height, so I think they're probably around the same age. But again, she's an alien, so who knows? In her race, maybe they age backwards, or maybe they, stay that size for 30 years, and then they get tall. Who knows? So much you can do with alien species that we couldn't do with, the old series where everyone looked the same. I love, that there's some anti-bullying going on here, because, Gloomy starts just being a jerk, making fun of Twink and how, or retelling the story of Twink's, sad childhood, we'll say, with glee almost. He's like, oh, Twink didn't tell you, well, let me, it's like, that's not his story to tell. let Twink tell that story instead of making fun of him, and then just, yeah. But then they start yelling at each other, and Wisp is just like, leave Twink alone, you're a bully. I don't like bullies. Which is just awesome. I love that. Anytime we can remind kids, don't be mean to other people, that's great. So I'm glad that's there. I'm glad we get to see Earth again, and that, yes, the parents are freaking out, as we all knew they would be. But also it shows a little bit of how much time has passed. Probably not much, because, yeah, like, on Earth, as far as Wisp knows, as far as Willow knows, Wisp disappeared, but they were all awake by that point because the alarm was going off and so forth, so her parents were awake. So they immediately went looking for her, I'm certain. And, I mean, it's hard to tell if this is at nighttime in the police department. The sky is very dark, but it's also raining, so it's hard to tell if that's just dark rain clouds or if it's still nighttime. It could be either, but either way, I would say, if anything, it's maybe early morning. So maybe a few hours have gone by, if that. Maybe just an hour or two. So I'm sure they went straight to the police because they saw her be, abducted, for lack of a better term. It wasn't just a missing person, like she didn't come home. Like, they literally saw her disappear in front of their face. Even if nobody believes Willow, that's what she saw, and she's sticking to it. Which, I love that too. She's just like, I'm not gonna let you talk down to me just because I'm a kid. This is what I saw. This is what happened. Believe it or not. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I love that Willow is going to be a part of Rainbow Land. I mean, I think that's safe to say at this point that she's going to be the Ultraviolet Color Guard. So she's gonna be able to be on these adventures with her best friend, Wisp. Which is so cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, it's always been like, Rainbow Bright's always just kind of been, I mean, she definitely depends on the Color Kids, and they work together. But at the same time, she's always been a little bit separate and a bit more independent than they are. And I feel like in this series, there's very much the possibility that she will just, they'll all be on the same level. She's not going to be like a leader, or at least if she is, she won't be a leader in the bossy type. There's a difference between a leader and a boss. And I think she would be a good leader, not a boss. And I'm not saying the old Rainbow Bright was a boss. She was a good leader too. But anyway, I just think, especially if I keep doing that, these W words. If Willow is there with her, like, there's no way she's gonna be like, I know this way more than you, Willow. I'm clearly much more cut out for this job. Yeah, they're best friends. They're gonna work together on everything. So that's cool. I think that's cool. And that'll just help her and the rest of the Color Guardians also become good friends and all work together equally. I mean, she's gonna have extra powers that the others don't have just because she can wield all the colors and all of their powers, and Willow or the other Color Guard aren't going to be able to do that. But I don't think she's the type that would be like, I'm so superior because I'm Rainbow Bright and I can do all these things that you can't do. And I don't know who I'm impersonating there. I'm excited that it's out. I'm still a little giddy just from reading it a few times. It really is a lot of fun. But I'm also just like, please more. I think I had said before that I kind of hoped that he would not wrap it up, but leave it at a place that it would be okay if it didn't come back. But I'm kind of really glad he didn't. I mean, yeah, it's not like we can't enjoy this if it doesn't continue. Like, I will absolutely read these years from now, even if they only make the 5. But what am I trying to say? It's sending a very clear message that we want more. Like, Jeremy clearly knows that and is writing for us, or not just, I don't mean like us adult fans, I just mean the fans, the people who are reading it, the people who are enjoying it, people who haven't even found it yet because they just don't know it exists, but they may find it when it comes out in trade paperback. So for all of us who could possibly enjoy this comic, he's leaving it wide open for more. Which, again, he had said from the beginning, this was just the first arc, and he has ideas for many more. Many, many more. So, he's setting it up beautifully. I mean, this was a really good arc. Yeah. So it did kind of have an ending, but not at all. There's so much more to go. We've only met 2.5 color guards now, because Willow doesn't know she's a color guard yet. And she could refuse it. She doesn't have to be, you know. I'm sure she will, but, you know. So there's so much more to do, so much more to see. And yeah, they still got a long way to go to defeat the King of Shadows. So we really need more of this comic. And I really hope you guys have been enjoying it as much as I have and are enjoying issue 5. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And just join me in purchasing the trade when it comes out. And again, I'll remind you guys when that time comes that it's out so that we can support it. And hopefully, like, poke Dynamite 2 more times. Please? Pretty please? Pretty please with cherry on top. And you keep pinging them, like Facebook, Twitter, call them, I don't know, however you want to. Just tell Dynamite you want more, because they need to hear that from us. If we're just telling it to each other, they're not necessarily going to know that or see that. But if you tell them, then they do know. Yeah. I'm going to stop rambling now, but that was issue 5. And I've got lots of other videos I need to do. So you'll see me again very soon, I'm certain. And until then, have a rainbow day. Bye. Oh, real super quick before I go. I forgot to tell you why I'm wearing my shirt that I'm wearing. I've worn this one before, but it's been quite a while. This is one of Elidor's old designs. I'm not sure it's still available on TeePublic, but it used to be. It says, "This is how I roll." It's her on roller skates. Can you see her roller skates? Yeah. I'm wearing this because it's totally like roller derby. And that's exactly what this outfit reminds me of. When I went to pick this up at the comic shop this morning, I was talking to the lady behind the calendar? What am I saying? Behind the counter. And said it would be really fun to cosplay as this version of Wisp. And she was just like, "Oh god, that would be cool. It's so like roller derby like." And I was just like, "Yes, it is." And she has a friend that does roller derby, actually, she told me. And, yeah, she thinks this would be great for somebody to be their roller derby personality, and I don't know what their name could be. They always come up with funny names, like Wicked Wisp, or I don't know. Wicked Wisp of the West. I'm giving out silly ideas. But yeah, somebody should totally cosplay as this. I might do it myself, but I don't sew, and putting that together could be tricky, but it's cool, so somebody should do that. Yeah. Okay, bye. Oh, and also, okay, I'm totally gonna go after this, I completely promise. But I forgot to show you this massive stack of Rainbow Brite comics that I have now. Hold on. If I can pick them up without just dropping them all over the place. All of these, oh my god, this is heavy. And the 5 that I got today, because I got the 4 covers of issue 4, and then they had one of the Virgin covers of issue, the 4 covers of issue 5, and they had one of the Virgin covers of issue 4 that they didn't have for me last month. These are all Rainbow Brites. Because, you know, there were like 9 covers for issue 1, and then there's been 4 of all the rest, and there's multiples. Many multiples in it. So, I gotta go through these and see what I have, because I don't even know anymore. They're so many. But I just wanted to wrap up my comic review and commentary and whatever I'm doing here by showing you where this has gotten me. You know, someone who had not collected comic books since she was a teenager now has this many of one series. And I've got a fair stack over there of others that I haven't opened yet to read. But I plan to. I do, especially now that I don't have Rainbow Brite to read anymore. I'm going to be really sad, so I'm going to start reading some other things that I've picked up. In the meantime, okay! I really think I'm done now. Really? Yeah. I'm looking all around to make sure I didn't forget anything else. I'm sorry. Okay, bye!